I have the same thing happen to me sometimes. I remember nights where I would just lie in bed, staring at the ceiling. No reason to get up tomorrow. No girlfriend. No friends worth calling. Just this feeling that maybe this is just who I am and it will never get better. And I believe that for longer than I want to admit. But I've overcome that. Now I live an amazing life with incredible friends and wife that I love. But still, sometimes those feelings come back out of nowhere. And I feel like I'm back in that room staring at that ceiling. So I have to manually pull myself out of it, remind myself of everything I have right now, everything I build, and the pain slowly reduces. It never disappears completely, but it no longer controls me. And that's the difference. So everything you have been told about moving on from your past is wrong. Not just incomplete, but wrong. And in this video, I'm going to tell you something that nobody ever told me and that I've never heard anyone say before. Let me tell you a story that completely changed my life. A drunkard of a man had two sons, and they both went their separate ways. One became a drunkard just like his father, sleeping on the street, drunk all the time, nothing to show for his life. The other became a millionaire. And when both were asked why they turned out the way they did, both said the exact same thing. Because my father was a drunk. One allowed his trauma to hold onto him forever and become exactly what his father was. The other one rejected his trauma completely and decided he wanted a different life. Same trauma, but different choices. And that difference, that single difference, is everything. Now, I understand, some of you went through really serious things like abuse, violence, or real severe trauma. And I'm not saying to just get over it. That's a different level and you should talk to a professional about that. But for most of you watching this, you are not dealing with that level of trauma. You are dealing with past rejections, past failures, bad relationships, and things that hurt you. But you are blowing it way out of proportion. Getting rejected by 5 girls you really wanted is not trauma, so don't treat it as such. I know this may seem harsh, but it is the truth that you need to hear. And I'm telling you this because I want better for you, not because I'm judging you or something. So use your trauma as a lesson and not as a life sentence. If your father was abusive, decide to never be like him. Love your kids the way he never loved you. Break that cycle completely. If people made fun of you in school, decide to never be the man who makes fun of others. Use that pain to build empathy. If girls kept rejecting you, decide to become the man girls actually want. Use those rejections as fuel to improve yourself instead of just evidence that it's impossible for you to get a girlfriend. Every painful thing that happened to you contains a lesson, and the man who finds that lesson and applies it becomes stronger than the man who never suffered at all. That is your choice. So don't be a victim. Be a winner. Your past does not determine your future. You can become anything you want. The men who changed the world were not the men with the easiest past. They were the men who refused to let their past be the final word on who they are. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And don't tell yourself otherwise. If you agree with what I've said so far, then like the video. And if you think I'm wrong, then keep watching and make up your own mind. And for those of you who don't know, on this channel I help young men to become better men, better boyfriends, better husbands, better sons, better fathers, and better friends, because everyone wants a man like that in their life. And so you can get married one day, because marriage is awesome. So try to watch as many videos as you can, because they will change your life. So here is the first thing nobody will ever tell you about trauma. Some people use it as a currency. My coworker went on a date with a girl I set him up with, and he just went on and on about how bad his life was, how he's sad all the time, how he's depressed, and he completely turned her off. He allowed his trauma to become his entire identity and literally the only thing he talks about. And people do this all the time. Here is another example. A guy acts like a complete idiot, but when you call him out, he says, well, I didn't have a father. And I'm sorry, I genuinely am. Not having a father is hard and I understand that. But that is not an excuse to act like an idiot. Your trauma is not a free pass. It is not something you get to throw in people's faces to avoid taking responsibility for your actions. The moment you start using your pain as currency, as the reason why nothing is your fault and everything is somebody else's problem, you have lost. But let me ask you something. How long have you been carrying it? How many years have you been letting that thing that happens to you, that rejection, that failure, that loss, to sit in the back of your mind and telling you what's possible for you and what isn't? How many girls have you not approached because of it? How many opportunities have you not taken? How many mornings have you woken up and felt the same emptiness because you still haven't dealt with it? That's not trauma doing that to you anymore. That's you choosing to keep carrying it. And that choice is costing you everything. Because here is what trauma actually does to your mind. It creates a story that feels completely true but isn't. It makes you see only the bad. It narrows your vision. It takes one painful experience and turns it into a universal rule for how the world works. I've seen guys who had a bad divorce. Wife took half their stuff, basically ruined their life. And I understand that was real and it hurt. But now they are letting that one experience tell them that every woman will do that. They are letting it blind them to the fact that there are women out there who would love them with all their heart and never even think about leaving. The trauma is making them see all women as their ex-wife. But that's not reality. That's the story the trauma is telling them. And here's the second thing about trauma that nobody ever tells you. You never fully heal from it. I know that's not what you want to hear, but it is the truth. It stays with you forever. There is no magic cure. No therapy session to make it disappear completely. No morning to wake up and it's just gone. The only thing that changes is how you learn to live with it. And it hurts less and less over time, but only if you choose to ignore it and live your life in spite of it. If you don't make that choice, it keeps hurting forever. The pain doesn't go away just because you waited long enough. It only goes away when you decide to move forward anyway. So if you want to learn how to become a man who can overcome his past and build the future he wants, then read my book, How Any Young Man Can Win at Life and Love. Link is in the description. And if you want to talk to me personally, link is also in the description, completely free. Before I tell you what to do next, if you agree with the message of this video, then please share it with as many people as possible. And if you want to watch more videos that will help you solve all your problems, find happiness, and find a girlfriend you will marry one day, then subscribe. So if you remember just one thing from this video, then let it be this. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. You don't get to choose what happened to you, but you get to choose everything that happens next. So stop letting a story that isn't even true anymore decide what your life looks like. Your past happened to you, but it does not define you. You do. But modern self-love these days tells you the exact opposite, that you should accept yourself exactly as you are, that you are already perfect. And that is the most selfish and destructive idea of our generation. So watch that video next to understand exactly how to live your life the way you always wanted to. Remember, God is real and marriage is awesome.